What's up, fellas? Welcome back to Loadout EDC. I have something to talk about with you guys because there's been a lot of confusion about my recent videos. To get things started, my monthly gear haul videos, that is not by any means what I'm carrying that month. There's no way that I'm carrying 6 flashlights, 6 pocket knives, 6 multi-tools, 6 stupid things on me every month. That's not what it is. The point of these videos are to show you what I am acquiring every month. That's it. I might be carrying them. I might be testing them out. I might be receiving them. I might be buying them. I'm just trying to show you guys what I got. That's all it is. So just to kind of clear things up, I have had a few people that have been questioning some of the things that I carry. They're like, why do you have all of this? And why don't you have this? Like, you could use some work on this. And I'm like, no, that's not what it is at all. All it is that I have acquired these gear items, EDC gear items, this month. I make a video on it. That's it. All right, so I got that off my chest. That was holding me down quite a bit, not gonna lie. Those videos also get a good amount of views, so I just want to kind of clear that up, make sure people are aware. Maybe I need to be more upfront about that at the beginning of the videos to make you guys understand. Maybe my titles are misleading, my thumbnails are misleading. I don't know. But anyway, what we are here for this month is no gear haul because I have not really acquired anything. I have not been buying any gear. I've not been receiving any gear. I have just been living it up and using my loadout to exactly how I need it. Actually, I've been doctoring this thing to make it exactly how I need it. So here's my thing. I want it to be light. I want it to be functional. I want it to be affordable, and I want it to be reliable. I'm finally getting there, okay? Lightweight, really nailing that right now. Lightweight loadout is definitely there. Functional, it could use a little bit of work, but it's getting there. It definitely feels reliable. It's something that I can carry with any outfit. It's something that I can carry with me all the time. I do have multiple loadout options because of maybe one day I'm not going for a ride in my car. Maybe one day I'm going with someone else and I don't have my car keys. So I have multiple loadouts. So let's get right into it. How's that sound? The other crazy thing about all of this stuff is I have gone down a big rabbit hole. I am, let's just, I have basically felt like an engineer lately with all of the stuff that I have been trying to come up with to make the perfect EDC loadout. I've got Paracord. This is actually pretty sweet. This is from Atwood Rope Manufacturing. This is a Parapocalypse Survival Cord Light. It has all different kinds of little inset stuff. What would you call that? It's typically, oh man, I can't think of the name of it right now. But basically like the stuff that goes inside of Paracord, it usually has different little strings in there that kind of wind up together and create this paracord. But this one has got like fishing line, fire starter, I think a wick to kind of keep things going. Yeah, waxed, whatchamacallit, Kevlar. Basically all sorts of stuff to use this as a survival kind of paracord. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. You might want to check that out. It's actually a pretty good price on their website. I believe it's also on Amazon, but that's not the point of the video. We also got just some paracord that I've just been using to kind of come up with some stuff. So I was going all sorts of directions with this stuff. Basically trying to find the easiest way to use this paracord. I also wanted it to be very functional. So I was like making measurements. I was like, all right, should I make it with a 6-inch strand? Should I make it with a foot, 2 feet, 3 feet? Like, can I use this as a measuring tool? So I was doing all sorts of stuff to make it easy to deploy, easy to just be like, all right, hey, I need to know how big a foot is. I've got it right here. Undo it. I can redo it real quick, tie different kinds of knots. So I was kind of just going off of different ways of using this stuff, making like lanyards, making things that can go around a wrist, things that can go on keychains, just trying to figure out what would be the best way to make this all work. I believe this is like this might actually be a foot of paracord right here, believe it or not. So I thought that was kind of neat, something that I can easily retie. I've got some that can work with keychain O-rings. I also made them so they can be outfitted with different kinds of Keychain Multitools. So we got one right here. just get that. So what I did is I made it so it can kind of just slip right onto it, and you can use it with many different multi-tools. So there's like this one right here that I can just slide this in the little, what do you call that? Lanyard hole. That's what it is. So I just made it so you can quickly swap them out and change them out. I thought that was kind of a neat way of doing it. I also tied these at different widths right here, so they would fit in certain ones, but this one is so wide that it's not going to work out that way. Just really trying to figure out what is going to be the best. And I think I'm getting there. I'm close. And it actually has made me get more things that I've needed because I found more items on the market. So one of the things I want to talk about is Keyport. So Keyport is a company that I have recently discovered because of their little unique Keychain Multitools. So what I really liked about the original one that I bought, let me get this right here, is that the original one was just this kind of piece right here. It was like $12 on Amazon, and it just had this, and I attached it to my keys, and I loved it. But then I went on their website and found out they had all sorts of other stuff. So what's always been super important to me is that I can put my keys on my waistband of my pants and carry it kind of like a pocket knife. And they happen to have something that was exactly like that. So I actually ended up changing out my loadout and made this little kind of pocket knife tool, but it's not a knife. I believe it is TSA compliant, but don't quote me on that one. Let's see if I can get that in focus. There we go. But it basically acts like a pocket knife, and it's got all these multi-tool attachments in here. I actually found them pretty useful. Bottle opener, I never care about, but you know what? Sometimes you might need it. This screwdriver, the Phillips bit, is actually somewhat good. I was kind of surprised by that, but what really matters to me is having a nice scraper, a nice scraping edge. It got a little bit of a scraper right here, but we also have a Phillips head right here. So the big deal for me is with camera accessories, they usually have that little flat head mount. That's something that I like to use a tool like this to kind of fix that up and get that off or put it on. But this cutter right here too, I cut a lot of zip ties in my days. So this is actually really helpful for cutting right here. And then this also doubles up as kind of like a pocket knife. You just put this on your waistband or put it in your pocket and your keys kind of just hang off from here. Now here's the big issue. This is the thing that's been the toughest thing for me, is making my keys as silent as possible. I hate when keys jingle and jangle. I hate the noise. So this is actually somewhat decent. I mean, there's a little bit of rattle here, but it's not too bad. It's not as bad as like some really jingly kind of attachments that kind of do like this kind of stuff. So that's where the Paracord comes in. The Paracord kind of makes that a little bit more silent. So this is the main support right here. Let's get this up. This is the main support that goes into my waistband or into whatever I'm putting it on. And then my keys kind of hang off from here. So I have my car key that kind of just hits this Paracord and keeps that silent. And then I have my flashlight here that hangs a little bit lower, so then it doesn't hit anything metal. It's kind of like just avoiding all the metal. And this happens to be the Nightcore Tiny 3. This thing is a crazy cool flashlight. Really bright and has different color temperatures. Let's just talk about this real quick. I really do like this. So 1 lumen off the bat whenever you turn this thing on, and then you can go through all the different color temperatures or all the brightness settings. It goes up to 400 lumens, I believe. Let me just change. So now we got cool, we got neutral and warm. Cool, neutral, warm. You can see a little bit better here. Turn it up to, here's 15 lumens. So that's pretty cool. 3 different color temperatures. And then it also has a lockout mode. And I always put it in the lockout mode where it's in the first one, so I can still fire it at full brightness. I usually keep it in warm. This is neutral right now. It's a pretty good color temperature still. I've always had issues with Nightcore just because of their color temperatures, but this is actually much better. Still low CRI, but better color temperature. This is, again, the Nightcore Teeny 3. It's MCT, which is the multiple color temperature, I believe, is their naming system for that. But yeah, there's different modes. There's different colors. There's different brightnesses, all in this tiny little keychain flashlight. USB-C rechargeable. I really do like this. This has actually replaced what my secondary EDC loadout is. So this is my first everyday carry loadout right here. This is the stuff that I carry. I have my multi-tool, I have my flashlight, I have my car keys. And then I always have a pocket knife. So going into my next subject right here, the pocket knife. I've got the Benchmade bug out. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Benchmade. Everyone gets all worked up about Benchmade. I still think they're a great company. I really like their products. I think they have good stuff. Yes, they're expensive, but they do use good steels. They do use good parts in their knives. So I'm not going to cut them for that. They are a little bit pricey, but this is what I have. The Benchmade bug out. Here's the one that everybody gets me on with the video that I had made, which is actually my most popular video, unfortunately, where I said this was 530V steel. I said 530V. The reason why I actually said that was because somewhere on here, it says Benchmade USA 535. And I think I was just reading that before I made the video. And I saw that 535, and I don't know why that stuck to me, but I know it's S30V. I mean, I've got S30V. I know my S30V, okay? So everyone just calm down about that. But anyway, can we help me find a better alternative than the Benchmade bug out? I actually want it to be a little bit smaller. I know they've got the mini bug out, but I want something a little bit smaller. Still great steel. Honestly, I would like even better than S30V. Let's get something a little bit better. So kind of need a replacement for the Benchmade bug out. I need something light. What I love about the bug out is that it is super light. I can't remember the exact weight on this thing, but I would love to replace this thing with something that's a little bit smaller, but just as lightweight, maybe even lighter. So if you guys can help me out with that, that would be awesome. So that's my EDC pocket knife, just to keep things lightweight, minimal. I can pretty much carry it with anything, any arrangement or setup. So that's how I do it. Now, if I don't have car keys, if I'm just around the house even, this is what I'm doing. So this is kind of what really led me into this rabbit hole, was this Ever Ratchet EDC Multitool. This thing is pretty freaking sweet. So this has a ratcheting bit driver, which actually I haven't used this bit on it. I always end up using my Milwaukee bits that I just have on hand, and they're also extended a little bit more for my drill and impact. And I actually use that as my bit. So I actually haven't used this one yet. I've used it just to test it out, but not in a real case scenario. So it does have the little 1/4 inch hex right here that you can use for more leverage, but it does have ratcheting right here. So if you just kind of let's just do it, let's just go for it. So you take this bit out, and depending on which way you orient it, it's gonna ratchet one way or the other. So I always put my finger here on the end, and then hear that? Now you get a ratcheting bit driver, which is really cool. Imagine having something like that on such a small little build like this right here. So that just kind of goes right there, hangs out. But it's got a little jimping here. It's got little measurements. Honestly, I haven't even used whatever those measurements are. Let's get that in focus here. But yeah, you got the bottle opener, you got the pry bar. The pry bar is the big deal for me. I like having a scraper. I like having a little flathead driver, but this one's nice and thick. It's not too heavy. It also has some little hex drives right here that you can use with different sizes. I'm probably not going to use this. It's more just of a lanyard hole. And again, silent with the paracord. So this is another thing that this leads me into, is this paracord. I actually gutted it. I took the insides out, which makes this a little bit less practical in a real world scenario. But this is kind of what I had to do to make this all work, because that paracord was, I think it was bigger than 550. So that's not your standard paracord, but look it is completely silent. There's no noise coming off of this thing at all. And it makes it so your flashlight is a little bit more extended. So you can just grab this from the side of your waistband and you have a flashlight at easy access. Again, this is full turbo right away. This is so great. This is the Rovivon Aurora A3 Gen 4. Another great keychain flashlight that I've been rocking for quite some time now. This is something that's been on my loadout forever now. So I really like that. I like having a multi-tool. This is what I use without any keys. So this is my keyless setup. If I'm just going somewhere, going to a park, going for a walk, whatever, this is kind of my setup. And this hangs low enough where it can kind of slip into a pocket, but just hangs off my waistband. Last thing, this is the Key Unity. Oh man, what is this? KM00. So this is kind of just a little clip. What's cool about this now is that I can easily detach and reattach other stuff on this thing. So if I don't want to rock this anymore and I want to rock something else, I can totally do that. So now I can just go with this. I can add whatever I want. So I've got my flashlight here. I can add a bigger flashlight, a smaller flashlight, a different tool, different kinds of paracord. This one is measured out to, I don't know, 3 feet or something. If I want something longer, I can just kind of swap things out on the fly. So this is just such a great little option to kind of do whatever I want with, and then I just tuck it in here. So this was really thought out. I did so much just tying stuff up, trying to make things work. Like I said, I was doing all different kinds of things to really find the best way to make this all work. And I finally figured it out to make it completely silent. And I love that about this. So that's what I got. I've got my keys, my car keys, and then I've got my keyless setup. So what do you guys think? Is there any adjustments that you would make to any of this? Do you have any suggestions, any better products that you can think of? I also have the Rovivon Aurora Gen 5. I want to say it's the clear one. It's just not as durable, so I don't really trust it as a everyday kind of light, but I still use it often. I still use it kind of just as a little pocket clip attachment. And then if I ever go somewhere where I can't bring a pocket knife, I also carry something like this, which is just another one of those little pry bars. Just something like this right here, which is another pry bar. Can kind of make cuts with it. Bottle opener. It's really heavy. It's not made with the best steel, but sometimes it will do the job, right? Since I've been doing all this paracord stuff, making all these different things, I might actually do a video talking about paracord, maybe knots. I actually have a little list of what not to know is what I call it. Just all the knots that I should know how to tie. And maybe I'll end up releasing that video or making a video on that subject. I also would like to make a video, since I went down this rabbit hole of different keychain multi-tools. I've got this Night Eyes doohickey. I've got one from Kershaw. I've got some from Gerber. Let's see. I've got multiple from Gerber. Here's another Night Eyes. This is also ratcheting. Another ratcheting little multi-tool. I'll have links to all this stuff in the description below. But yeah, I just kind of popped off and got a bunch of different multi-tools to try to figure out what's going to be the best for me. I even made a nice work loadout. I can show that in another video. I can do EDC flashlights, like Keychain Flashlights. I've got a few of these, so that might even be helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Leave them in the comments below. I can definitely answer any questions you guys have, because I've been going crazy just trying to figure out what's going to work the best for me, what's going to be the easiest, affordable, all that sort of stuff. So I feel like this is kind of nailing everything. I really like it. I can't wait to keep using it, and I might even add stuff to it. But I like keeping it minimal and simple, something that I can use every day. So if you guys have any questions or any comments about this stuff, please leave them in the comment section below. All the links in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.